Hello, Caesar here. Today I'm going to bring you up to speed. Yesterday I finished going over these tusks here. They're sanded and I'm going to leave them as is. And once I place them on the armature, they'll go something like this here. The clay will eventually hold them in place. I may create some locks here, or keys if you will, so when I insert the tusk, I'll know exactly how they're supposed to fit, as well as the person creating the mold will also know exactly how I want them aligned. Otherwise, when you send them to the foundry, he may not know. He'll put up something like this, give or take. But anyhow, once you create the keys, it's a no-brainer. It's like a puzzle. You push in the tusk, it'll lock in place. So this one will go something like this here. And let me swing this one around. And this one, more or less like this here, depending. Probably turn this way. And if you notice, for safety reasons, I opted to curve the tusk in. So the last thing I want is someone getting injured when they approach or maybe slip near the sculpture. You don't want them taking out an eye. So this is the reason for this design. Not to mention it kind of ages the elephant, lets you know it's a much more mature creature. So it'll go something like this here. What I'm going to do today is go throughout the sculpture and start filling in the negative space. For instance, here, every area where I'm going to try to eliminate as much clay as possible, because otherwise, if I were to just go straight with this clay, well, this whole entire area would end up being clay, and we don't want that because it's going to add a lot of cost and it's going to add a lot of weight to the final piece. So I'll be taking aluminum foil and filling the cavities like this here, and more or less taking on the shape, plus or minus maybe a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, and the remaining wall will be clay. So I'm going to go through the entire piece right now, fill in sections. Even up here, I don't want to have clay enter my holes up here where I have the nut. So I'll do something like this here, insert it. And the nice thing about using foil, it's very forgiving. For instance, if I were to add too much here, later I decided, well, that needs to be tucked in, I just apply pressure and you have an instant transformation. And you just continue building on it. I'm going to pause the video now and I'll return once I've completed, for the most part, adding most of this foil paper. Also, it doesn't hurt if you have a 3D object in hand to kind of use it as your study. I do have some, except they happen to be African elephants, which won't hurt. If you're doing the Asian elephant. The Asian elephant happens to have the hump here, more of a hump on the back. The African elephants, they have a tendency to have more of a larger back here. Now here's a diagram I found online. It's going to come in very handy. Here we talk about the Asian elephant having the tallest arch on the back here, as opposed to the African elephant. You see the back dips right here. The African elephant has the tallest point here at the shoulders. Here's an African elephant. God, this one's been with me for almost 30 years. As you can see, it has a broken tusk. I need to fix that. My son, when he was a toddler, he backed up into it and broke the tusk. So I got to repair it. It's been a little lazy doing that. Anyhow, as you can see, African elephant, hump here. The Asian elephant will have the hump here. So I'm going to use this here basically not so much to follow the actual conformation of the elephant, but to help me more or less figure out exactly what areas I need to fill. The bottoms for the most part. This will help greatly. African elephants happen to have more wrinkles than the Asian elephants. And obviously the ears on the African are huge compared to the Asian one. But this piece was, I believe, done by a Mexican artist. It's made out of resin. But it comes in handy for a study. That's a very nice piece. Let me see if that's true. Let's say I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3. They got the toes correct. As what the Asians have, 5 in the front, 4 in the back. So good for them for getting the anatomy correct on that. Here's a smaller elephant. Overall, it's a very nice piece. It's made out of some kind of resin. I'm not sure if I'll be using this much. The detail in this here is not as great as the other one. So most likely I'll rely on the other for more of my detail. But it's not a bad piece. I do have a broken ear, broken tusk, not an issue. Again, yeah, allow your kids to not so much play with your sculptures, but when they get around to them, they will, from time to time, damage them. Go ahead and take you through these steps here, except it'll be on the time lapse, because I have no clue how long this is going to take me. Creating the bones and everything, you could have gone straight with the wire and gone with the foil paper, but this more or less tells me exactly what the length of those particular bones are. Plus, it was good practice. You constantly want to be referring back to your studies. I'm creating a lot of air within the foil paper to help me bulk it up quicker. This is interesting. It's supposed to be an Asian elephant. That's just somebody else's model of an elephant. I noticed they put the hump towards the end, which kind of tells you it's more of an African elephant, so this is not technically correct. The hump should have been up here. So what else do I have? See the smaller ears. It's clearly an Asian elephant because the double humps on the head. This is interesting. Oh well. Okay, that's all we have for now. I'm out of foil paper. So not till I get more